This is North Georgia's News Talk.
WDUN. This girl is on fire.
Welcome into Game On, folks. Katie B. Davis here, going to take you through the next hour on what is a cold Wednesday evening. I hope that you are snuggled up, even if it's in a car on your way home from work with the heat blowing in your face, or at home listening to us on WDUN.com or the Access WDUN app, fixing dinner maybe in front of a fire. Doesn't all that sound winter-esque? I believe that it does indeed sound winter-esque. But I appreciate you being here this evening. We will be on until 8. If you want to join the conversation at any time, feel free. 770-535, the way to do it. Coming up this hour, we're going to talk Falcons-Redskins. There's been a lot of drama out of the Redskins camp today. How does it affect the Falcons come Sunday? We'll dive into it. I'm also going to make my picks for the week. I wasn't able to do that yesterday because we were talking racing with Race Week Illustrated's Brandon Reed, a member of the board of directors for the Georgia Racing Hall of Fame, and we just didn't get to it. We were having too much fun with him. So going to make game picks today. We've also got a couple of really cool giveaways coming up this hour. So make sure you stay with us on AM 550, FM 102.9, WDUN. Very special guest joining us to kick the show off, pun intended there. That is Buford head coach Jess Simpson. His Wolves playing in the Dome once again for a state title. They will take on Washington County at 5:30 this Friday in a game you can hear on AM 550 and FM 102.9. Coach Simpson, don't want to take up too much of your time. I know that you're enjoying some family time right now, but thanks so much for being with us tonight.
I got to ask you, was that your own theme song they were playing as you started your show?
I would like to say that that's me singing, Coach Simpson, and yes, but no. That's an Alicia Keys song that we kind of ripped off. Do you like it?
Okay. I didn't know that was like your theme song. I'm like, wow, I don't know if I'm important enough to be on this show.
That's fantastic. Hey, I'd like to think of it as my theme song. It's actually just a song that I like a whole lot. Glad to know, though, that you like it, too, at least a little bit.
Yeah.
Coach, your program playing for another state title. Does this ever get old for you all?
No. I mean, the thing about being in Buford is football just didn't get on. We just had our last kind of big team meeting of the year. We kind of every Wednesday night have our team meetings, and just got 30 minutes to kind of share with my guys and recap, from January to now, and kind of talk about where we started and where we are. And this has been a fun year. Every day has been fun. Every week's been fun, and that's because we got great kids and they're fun to work with, and they believe in what we're doing. They're committed to our program and our process. And no, it doesn't get old. I mean, this is a great opportunity, and we're certainly blessed to be here again.
Every year, a new year, every team, a new team for you at Buford. But the end result has been the past few years the same, and that's a berth in a state title game. Talk to us about Washington County and what this team brings to the table, Coach Simpson.
Washington County, has a great football tradition. Most people know many of the Edwards boys and Taquillo Spikes, some of those guys from, 10 and 15 years ago came out of Sandersville and won state championships. I think they only won 3 in a row, but they have a great tradition. Coach Joel Ingram is their head coach and just does an unreal job. He is also the offensive line coach, and in my opinion, this is probably the best coach offensive line we've ever played against. They're not big at every spot, but for what they do, they are so athletic and so well coached, and they create so many problems and issues. They're in the shotgun every snap. They run the zone option in the read zone, and they just spread you from pillar to post. They got great tight ends. The quarterback is an outstanding player. They have 3 tailbacks that look like they're all clones. They run really hard, and they got great speed, and they understand how to read the zone and then what gaps are opening and closing, and then they're athletic on the outside of offense. So we're just going to have a huge time just slowing them down. Defensively, they're very similar. They're an 8-man front, and they build a 9-man front with the safety down a bunch. They load the box and make it really hard for you to run it on. So, and they're sound in the kicking game. But, in a state championship game, you probably are going to play the best opponent you've played all year, and certainly that is the case this year.
And that's the way that it absolutely should be. Coach, how big is familiarity this time of year? And what I mean by that is you all have played in the Dome a whole lot over your tenure as coach at Buford. How important is that when you get down to this time of year?
I can only speak for us. I mean, that continuity, that familiarity is so important because our kids do know what to expect, and you ride to the Dome, and it is a different experience. It's a different experience, and from a sound standpoint and being able to communicate, things look different from the ceiling to finding, signals from the sideline. And it's just kind of it's kind of surreal as a coach and a player sometimes. And it goes by and you look up and you're in the middle of the third quarter and you feel like you just kicked off. And when your first time in there, I can imagine that those dynamics are harder to deal with. I hope it's an advantage for us, but we've been there so many times it may or may not be. You just really don't ever know.
Coach, last week you all played Callaway, played them tough enough to get a berth in the Class AAA state title game. It was a close game, though, and you all hadn't had a lot of those thus far this season up until last week. 24-14, the final outcome. Having a game like that to get to the Dome, do you feel as well prepared as you could be with the blowouts and then with a close game to get to the Dome?
I think... every situation is a learning experience, and we've had, certainly this team has had different situations and played really good in spurts and been inconsistent at times like all teams are. But last Friday night is a great thing. When you come out on the good side of it, you win, and you feel like, you made some adjustments. Your team showed a lot of poise and confidence at halftime and played probably the best third quarter they've played all year. Certainly, we could very well be in a similar situation on Friday, so that's a building point. But for us, we just, the preparation is really more about what we do and how we prepare and being ready for those moments. And, you can't simulate all of those at practice, but we try to as best we can.
Well, hey, I tell you, there hadn't been many moments during your time as head coach at Buford that you all haven't been prepared, and we expect the same come Friday. Coach, thanks so much for taking some time out with us tonight. Best of luck in your quest for yet another state title for the Buford football program.
Thanks, Jay. We appreciate you all covering us and you having me on the show tonight.
Absolutely. Coach Jess Simpson, folks, of the Buford Wolves, they're going for another state title. We can't emphasize that enough. Not a state title, another state title. They'll take on Washington County, 5:30 Friday evening. You can hear the game on AM 550, FM 102.9. This is Game On. I'm Katie B.